Yeah.
And we are back. Welcome to the SoapBox, the place where people who work, volunteer, and care about recovery tell us who they are and what they're most passionate about. Today, my guest is Arnaud Plaire, life coach for dads. Arnaud is a happily married father of two who left a six-figure income to dedicate his time to what really mattered to him, contributing to the version of the world he wanted for his kids. Arnaud, thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. How are you?
My pleasure. I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much, Richard.
Very good to see you. Good to see you. Listen, I like to start off all these shows with the same thing. Really, give me that quick Cliff Notes version of who Arnold is, and to introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know about who you are, who you are.
Yeah, so as you introduced, I'm a life coach for that. But really, who I am, I always say I'm happily married, father of two, and I'm truly dedicate my time to, so both at work and my personal life, to embody that version of the world that I want for my kids. We all have, that version of the world. We all have statements such as, "Oh, the world should be like this or like that," and I just do things that align with that. This is who I am, trying to embody the change I want for the world.
I like that. Life coach for dads. We're gonna get into that, but I, I wanted to ask you a question about who you were in reference to this.
Yeah.
You mentioned something to me about Gandhi, and anytime somebody, to me, in my opinion, anybody who mentions Gandhi, that's a life presence for them, and it's a philosophy in the way they live. Tell me a little bit about the mixture of those two.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you may know that I'm Indian born, so I
Mhm.
live in Spain. I'm in Europe, but I was born in India, and I don't know if it's for those roots or not. But I feel quite connected to that statement, right? Be the change you want to see in the world, which is precisely what Gandhi did back then. And I think this is really powerful. This is not something you want to look up to or something you want to admire, but it's something you want to do at your scale. We all, it's not that you want to get rid of all possessions and just as Gandhi did, you don't have to go as extreme, but there are
Mhm.
tiny things you want to do to embody that version that you want for the world, slight changes. And for dads, it's very important because dads want the best for their kids, right? They want the best for their sons and daughters. And
Right.
it's not always about what we think it is. It's not always about money. It's not always about safety. We're going to talk about this today, right? And
Mhm.
it's about helping them making the choices that feel right. And if you want them to do that, you want to embody that, you want to do that, you want to lead by example, which is what Gandhi did actually. So yeah, I truly feel inspired by Gandhi and what he did.
Mhm. And that is that where the meditation is related to?
Yeah, I also discovered meditation in India. It was in 2012. It was not related to Gandhi. I always say I accidentally um, bumped into meditation. I didn't know where I went into when I discovered it. It was Vipassana. It's like 10 days straight. You meditate from 4:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So it's long hours of meditation, sitting, you can't
Wow.
talk and everything. I didn't know what it was. Somebody told me, you could do Vipassana and you can't talk to anyone 10 days in a row. And I thought, oh, I like talking. So that's going to be kind of a challenge. I like challenges as well. Let's do that. And then after 20 minutes, I thought, oh my God, I hate that. That's horrible. That's horrible. I can't move. I can't talk. I can't do anything. Just
Mhm.
observe my breath. That's terrible. I don't want to do that. But you signed a paper saying that when you start, you got to finish the thing. So I just went through the 10 days. And of course, it reveals very deep layers of yourself, things that you can't really experience in one day or 1 hour.
Right.
Um, but you get to tap into yourself quite deeply, and it exposes something that
Mhm.
yeah, the true nature of life. I would say it's real. It's real. It is within ourselves. You just want to know how to tap into that. So this is where or how my meditation journey started accidentally, and yeah, I kept it in my day to day life since then.
Okay, I thought that was very interesting, and I just wanted to ask you about that and get your opinion. Let's hear you talk on that for a little bit. Before we go on,
Yeah.
housekeeping. Show notes section is very important to this show. Okay,
Okay.
so hey, you can get all the information about Arnaud, including his contact information and current and future projects. Okay, in this show notes section, and some more of his thoughts, hopefully. And also, there's information for the parents and mentors of young adults between the ages of 7 to 24 for a non-clinical process that works with any other intervention that you're using currently. And we also have more information for practitioners who want to combine this service with their service. Okay, so Arnaud, it's time for you to step up on the soapbox. Okay, you're going to get
All
up
right.
here and we're going to talk. We're going to talk your talk. Okay, and the first thing I want to serve up to you is this. Tell me about the 3 mistakes you think dads are making in reference to providing for their children.
Oh
How do you
yeah.
see that?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there are common mistakes indeed. So, and the 3 most common mistakes I see, the first one is that, and it's subconscious. Okay, it's subconscious. It's not that dads do that consciously, but they kind of don't walk the path they want their kids to walk or to go through. What do I mean by that? Dads want the best for their kids, of course, and they do things like I often see dads who they can have multiple jobs, and they really try to find solutions to provide for their kids so that they don't have to do the things that they do right now, so that their kids don't have to go through what they're going through. But the problem by doing that is that you embody a way of doing, a way of being that you transfer onto your kids. So you got to transition out of that, which is why actually you probably notice that patterns repeat themselves
Mm-hmm.
from generation to another one to another. Why is that? Is because kids don't, you can tell a kid 1,000 times, don't do
Yeah.
that, don't do that. Or it's a bit like smoking. You smoke and you tell your kids, don't smoke, don't smoke. It's really bad. Don't do it. Okay. I tell you, you should not smoke. Okay. And you're there smoking your cigarette. What's going to happen 20 years after is your kids are probably going to smoke or try to smoke. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is what happens with everything we do. We have a behavior as dads that our kids are watching. They're like Big Brother. They're constantly watching us. We are role models. And if we do things, or jobs, if we have a way of nurturing our kids that is based on stress so that they can avoid this stressful situations, it's a bit game over. It's nonsense, because our kids will learn that, that's the way to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do. That's the path I have. And my father can tell me I'm doing that so that you don't have to do this, but yeah, it won't work. Your kids are always looking at the behavior. So we want to be careful about that, because it would be a huge mistake to live a life in a way that we don't want our kids to replicate.
Right.
That's not working. And then the second mistake I would see um, is prioritizing safety over confidence. So we think of safety, 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 and safety. It's not about, we of course we want safety for our kids, but
Right.
we relate it to money, right? So the more we have, the more we possess, the safer are the kids. So it can start with a bit of money, a bit more, and then a house, and then maybe a big mansion, and then a mansion with walls, and then a mansion with walls and protections, and some guards, and so on. But somehow, someday, the guards can get ill. You can lose the power. There can be a power cut, and then you're there in your mansions, and there's no safety anymore. And the wilderness can come into your house. So how can you really provide safety to your kids? It's the ability. It's about the skills. So it's about, sorry, but phone call here. It's about the ability to live, actually, in a world that's constantly changing. So you want to build that confidence in your kids, not provide safety. You don't want to give them that fish. You want to teach them how to fish.
Okay,
And
I like that.
that's basically that. And how can they fish in a world that's constantly changing? You want to build that resilience, that equanimity, and the fact that they can trust the process of life and keep taking action on what is important to them. Now, And then so the first was, usually I see that dads don't walk the path they want their kids to walk. Second, they have a misconception about safety. Actually, that's a mistake. And third, they they have something within themselves saying, I should do this, I should do that. The world should be a little more like this, a little more like that. But they don't act on those impulses.
Right.
They feel like, oh, that's just BS in my mind, right? Let's just not listen to those things, to those voices that tell me to go a little more left or right. And they should, because this is what they're called to be doing. I'm not saying that everybody should leave his job and do big entrepreneurial things. No, but there are small things. Maybe I should call that person, or I should spend a little more time with my kids, or I should pay more attention to this or that, or relate into another way, or don't get so upset. Sometimes these are little things that we don't pay attention to, and we should absolutely do. But we don't do that because they want to change the world. They're out there, right? They want to provide. And it's a bit like mindset of all of nothing. I change the world, I save the world for the sake of my kids. Or if I see that I can't do that, I just forget about everything and just keep doing the things that I've been doing for so long. That keep me in the same loop, by the way.
Right.
And that's inevitably raises your stress levels when you do that. And remember, your kids learn from what they perceive from you. It's energetic as well. So yeah, definitely these are three mistakes about the world changing thing. It's something I truly relate to, because when I started entrepreneurship 6 years ago, I wanted to change the world. So I set up several projects with that idea that really deep, if I'm honest with you, the idea was I really want to change the world because I don't like some things in the world and I want to change them. So I set up some technological stuff and that I did not succeed with them. But somehow at some point there's been a shift. There's been a shift when I went to a retreat because my projects did not go well. I had to shut them down and so on. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? And I get more, in my meditation, I knew why I was doing that, but I thought with such good intentions of changing the things, I want people to be more connected and so on. I just wanted to connect people. And that didn't work. And at that retreat, we did a lot of self-connection dynamics and so on. 5 days. That made me realize, and I knew that already because I was meditating already, but I did not really get the why I was meditating and so on. And that reminded me that I don't have to change a thing in the world. I just got to relate differently to the world, and I got to connect with myself.
Okay. All right.
And with that life that I have within myself, yeah.
No. Next thing I want to ask you, how do dads, and you had some thoughts on this, how do dads get what they really want? And my second part to that question is, what about the ones that are confused about what they want? How do you work that out? What do you think dads should be striving for as far as what they want and how to get that?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. How do they know what they want? And that's really tricky because we are in at a moment in our evolution where there are some massive changes and they happen really fast. And we can see now the technological, for example, evolution, the AI, right? It's moving so fast. The rules are being changed, right? So how do we know what we want? Because we see one thing, then we want another. And it seems that as soon as we get something, as soon as we get this new car, new apartment, this new home, this new job, we want something else, right? And it's kind of an endless chase, right? So how do we know what we want? And this is where we absolutely want to shift our perception of life, which is the biggest misconception I see. And it's time to do that. It's absolutely time to do that now. It's urgent if we want our kids to raise our kids more consciously in the future. Why? We tend to perceive life as something individual. Your life is Richard's life, is Arnaud's life, is our neighbor's life, and each one has his life. And that's it. Now it's your life. And there's even a song from Bon Jovi, right? That is my life.
That's right, right.
But it's not. Life is life. Life is life. It's been happening for over 15 billion years since Big Bang, right? I don't know what happened, but yeah, over 15 years of evolution of life itself. Life that manifests through us. We are alive. Fun fact. Did you know? So I will ask you a question, Richard.
Mhm.
So do you know that most of what we are, the matter that we perceive in a body, is empty space? So we are particle vibrating, and
Yes.
between those particles is empty space, right?
Mhm.
If we were to take the matter, so the real matter of all human beings, 8 billion human beings that we are on Earth, we just take the matter. So we get rid of all the empty space and we take the matter. What would it fit? What is the container? Would it be a country,
I
a
don't
house?
know that. I don't know.
You want to know? It
Never, never.
would be a sugar cube.
Wow.
A sugar, a small sugar cube. You see,
Yeah.
very small. It's really a small cube like this. That would be the matter of 8 billion human beings, and because the rest is only empty space. So that is life,
Okay.
and this is what you can perceive. So we are the result of life that manifests through us. If life was a tree, we would be a leaf. You would be a leaf, and there would be another leaf,
Mhm.
and that's it. So where do I go with that? We want to make life-based decisions. And you can't go wrong by doing that. You
Mhm.
can't go wrong by doing life-based decisions. What does life want? It wants to expand. It's been expanding for 15 billion years, and it's got to go on expanding. And if you know how to tap into yourself, observe what life wants, so feel that life, you can truly feel that life, that vibration of life, you will know what the action is that life wants for it to expand. And if
Mhm.
you allow life to expand within yourself, guess what happens? You expand with it. So there's no wrong choice. There's absolutely no wrong choice. Life won't let you down. It will let you down eventually if you don't make room for it. If you
Right.
don't make room for life, it will let you down. And this is where our stress levels go high. And we got panic, we got anxiety, we don't know what's happening with our lives because we don't make room for that life. So we want to shift from my life, hold on to my life, what I want and what I intellectually want, to this is life. I'm just a channel for it. And I'm just going to trust it. I'm just going to tap into myself, know what it wants, and let it expand. I'll expand with it. And that's it. And that's the best gift you could give yourself, of course, and your kids.
Okay.
Because you know they make the right decisions. Now, another misconception also is about the how to do that.
Right.
I don't know in the US, but here in Europe, the psychotherapy is widely accepted,
Mhm.
but there's still a lot of misunderstanding about coaching and how to do those processes. I think in the US, people are more open to or understand more about coaching, but here people still don't really see the difference.
I would
And
have
this
thought
is what I see. Yeah.
I would have thought you told me different. For some reason, I was waiting for you to say, "Well, in Europe, we're way ahead of you guys. We can't." In
Really?
America, yeah, we always think, "But in Europe, everybody's ahead of us," you know. So okay, that's
Oh,
interesting.
that's funny because I think in Europe we have the same sensation, but the other way around. That in the US we feel you're way ahead of us. So you see, sometimes it's a matter of perception, right? But
Right.
here, yeah, talking about coaching and therapy, I mean, there's still a big misconception there, and at least here people would not really understand. But for example, I had a process with someone, a short process. We had a few sessions with someone here, and he was really happy with the process. He wanted to deal with anger, and he got fine. I mean, that was quite quick, and in a few sessions we got him to get aware of what was happening and how to deal with that, and really a great process. And
Right.
somehow in coaching, that evolution, I would say, is ever evolving. You never stop learning and evolving and getting
Right.
better at what you want. That person comes to me in the last session and last or as a session says, "Thank you so much. I can't be grateful enough. Now I know I can hire a therapist, a psychotherapist." And I thought to myself was, it's okay, it's fine. I said, okay, good. But myself thought, why? Why would you drop something that's working? I'm not saying a therapy would not work, or you can combine both, but
Right. Right.
why one or another? Because the therapy is indeed something to release trauma, and coaching something to make you move forward, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so
Okay.
that was just that was a bit funny. And you got with a therapist, I did not really ask, so it's been a while, but I'm gonna ask how it's working. But that was a funny situation to
Okay.
be. So there was a kind of misconception there. And now there's a third one, which is about mindfulness meditation.
Mhm.
You find so many things now online or offline as well, and there's a confusion uh, in the meditation thing, because it's been kind of brought to the market as something. Maybe you have to retire up the mountain. Some things, some would think, oh yeah, there's some, you gotta live like a monk and so on. You can't do that in your daily life. So, or you retire up the mountain, or you have to go to a to a 5-day retreat, or you have to be alone in the woods, or you have to meditate 1 hour in the morning alone. I
Mhm.
don't have time for that. Or worse, I need some audios. I need some YouTube meditations and so on. No, you don't need that. You just want to tap into yourself. You don't need any audios. I never use audios. Don't recommend using audios, to be fair, because you want to be able to tap into yourself, and you can do that walking, talking, eating, walking the dog, working. We can do that right now by talking and having this conversation. So
Mhm.
it is an attitude. It is a way of being that helps you make life-based decisions on one hand, and then sustain them in time, which is walk with equanimity, with neutrality, even when things get complicated, right? So this is where I see the misconceptions. It's not something to relax. It's not something even to feel good sometimes, because sometimes you feel really bad. You just accept it. You just accept it, the pain, but you don't
Right.
suffer, right?
Right. Right. Which is huge. I got a question
Yeah.
for you. Someone will watch this interview. When you talk about working with the fathers, is there any special age group of the children of the fathers you prefer or you think work best with? I mean, for example, you want your kids to watch you. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm talking about a 3 to 6 year old or something like that watching me. What about
Yeah.
fathers who are listening to this who are very stressful? Their children are a little older, maybe, in the young teenage years. Is there any different strategy or you still think press on the same way? Have you?
Yeah, I think there are different strategies. There are different. So I would definitely be more specialized in to work with parents of babies, babies to up to pre-adolescence or before adolescence. Why? Because at that time, especially kids up to that 10 years old, I would say, because at that time you still see such a long future. I mean, even if they're adolescent, but for your kids, so they're still kids. You
Right.
see them as kids, and
Right.
that's very important. When you have adolescent, you have another way to relate with your children. And to be fair, to be honest, I don't even know what it is to have adolescents at home. Teenagers, I mean, I don't.
Mhm.
I don't have teenagers at home, so I'm. I can help because I can relate to what a father of a 7, 8 year old or a baby
Mhm.
feels. I can't not relate yet, although I understand it on the intellectual level. But I haven't experienced yet what it is to be the father of teenagers. So how logical would it be for me to coach parents of teenage kids? Right? I could, but that would be theory. And that's something very important to understand from what I do is that I of course, I studied, and it's based on neuroscience and also on mindfulness, but on my practice of meditation. But I embody and I teach and I coach through what I experience. So there are techniques I learned that, yeah, seem to work fine and so on. But when I applied them, I could not really see the shift there. Well, there are techniques that I don't use because they did not work for me. They can, yeah, they can work fine for someone else. But when I apply it to me, I noticed how there was something missing there, or I could not connect with. So I would not apply that.
Okay.
And yeah, so I really coach from what I learned, what I apply, but I test everything that I coach with. To be fair, I applied. I'm my first test. So yeah, that's why I would work with parents of babies to 10 years old.
Okay.
Approximately.
All right. Listen, one more break here. Let's talk about this. The show notes section. I want to remind everybody, this is very important because I'm having Arnaud put some of his qualifications and maybe let you know he's got a lot of talents here that he can bring to the table here. We're not going to get through all of them today, but he's got a lot of talents for you fathers or anyone else looking who think that this would be good for them. So the show notes section, you can get all the information about Arnaud, including his contact information, his current and future projects, which we're getting ready to talk about right now, and his thoughts about the recovery process, and also information for the parents and mentors of young adults between the ages of 17 and 24. So we got the older kids, here, non-clinical process that works along with any other intervention. Now, you said something earlier I thought was very important: therapy, coaching. Yeah. A lot of, picking one. I agree. I think together, okay, therapy about healing trauma and coaching about moving forward. I agree with you 200%, 200% on that. Oh no, I want to talk to you and get you to talk to me about your coaching, and some of the projects that you have going here. Tell me about what you offer.
Yeah, I do. Thanks for asking. So I do offer, it's a 12 week long process generally that I work with. It's called the Wake Up Challenge. It is a challenge. So it is a challenge where, well, we meet, of course. So you go through those phases where we deconstruct maybe those myths you have in mind, and we rewrite the story that is helpful for you. This is what the coaching is for. And throughout those 12 weeks, you learn to do the most important thing from my perspective is how to make life-based decisions and how to sustain them in time. And you do that by practicing mindfulness, knowing how to tap into yourself. You do that 10 minutes a day. So that's very easy. It's 10 minutes. You just need 10 minutes a day for 12 weeks to learn that particular technique, which is my own, of course, so that you can make life-based decisions that sustain them in time. And I coach them coach you throughout the whole process. Now, it is true that some people would not, based on the misconceptions that they are and so on, some people would not really understand, or maybe may have doubt, which is why I give the opportunity, and especially to your audience, Richard, very important, to join me for 5 days. So I offer a 5-day challenge, you and me. So one-on-one with me is 5 days. We meet every day, 30 minutes, and I lead you through a mini challenge to really regain that passion. So drop your stress level, know what you want, and regain your confidence. And get started with that. And it's free, 100% free. So there's no money commitment. It's just to know each other, know how I work, and
that's gold right there, because this show's primarily dealing with people in the recovery space. And I think that, for a lot of men with children that age who are dealing in a stressful situation, it's a no-brainer, to get this kind of help and this kind of insight. So, and I was going to make sure that you talk to me about that 5-day challenge and what we was going to offer our guests. So that's pretty good. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay.
Oh, welcome.
Let's get to some fun stuff here. I wanted to talk to you about a few things. First of all, you're actually my second show
All
getting
right.
back. And the first gentleman was an musician also.
Okay.
So you got a little bit of music in you, I hear.
Yeah. I like the drums. I've been playing the drums for oh my God, it's been a long time now, over 20 years. But yeah.
Okay. All right. That's in music. I like that. I told the other gentleman, I said, listen, I'm just a wannabe. I admire people to play music. I'm the guy who has the guitar and the bass guitar in the room sitting looking at me, to be just because, and he goes through his scales every 3 months, he goes through scales again. That's me, so I admire that kind of thing. Listen,
Well,
tell
at
me,
least, yeah. It's-
I see that you're very adventurous and outdoor inclined. What's that about? Have you always been that way?
what do you mean? What was that?
Well, I saw you on a bike. Look like you're on a bike, or you're on the side of a mountain where you're climbing. What were you doing? Like you're
Oh,
at home outside.
no. That was a funny thing. Now I talked about once. You probably mean a reel or something you may have seen on
Yeah.
a. Yeah, that was me talking about Everest. So it's a story of not taking yourself too seriously. That's very important also in my way of being.
Okay.
By the way, I have these voice, telling me for years now, I want to climb Everest. I really have that sensation that I would like to climb Mount Everest, which is a crazy thing to do, right? I'm afraid of heights. I never climbed really, so I have no. It's against all odds. I mean, I wouldn't really want to do that in the same world, right? But I still have this voice telling me I want to climb Mount Everest. So somehow I made a reel about that, and I was on the top of a small mountain.
Yeah. When I saw it,
Um,
I said, "Oh, he looked like he's getting something done over there."
yeah, yeah, but the mountain was like 1 meter high. So that was
Great,
the end of the video, saying,
great
okay,
job,
you got to start with something. But I was
great job.
just made a message of saying, okay, you can set your goals, but somehow you got to know also which goals are important to you. I can have those voices, but do I want to listen to them? I just decided to make fun of that and say, that's great. Let's start with something. It's 1 meter high. It's a summit for me. And
Okay.
but let's not take ourselves too seriously
And the
on that
last
one.
thing, are you? I heard you mention something else, which I was curious about. Is listen to these things, uh, uh race car fan.
Oh yeah. Formula One. Formula One.
Okay.
I'm a big fan, but I'm not a fan of any driver.
Mhm,
So it's not about the drivers and the competition. What I truly admire in that sport is the growth mindset.
mhm.
So how they constantly doing things better and better and better. I mean, on one lap, the difference between the first and the last one might be 0.2 of a second, which is a blink of an eye, right?
Right.
So it's impressive to see the level of commitment and precision in all what they do, and also the fact that they're so consistent at everything. I learn a lot, and I'm truly inspired by this. Although I know some may say that they're polluting and so on, but they're also looking for solutions to lower the contamination, and
Right.
it serves the rest of the world and the industry. So it's not a bad thing. It depends on how you see that. But regarding that sport, it's something, yeah, I truly admire that mindset that they have. I learn a
That's
lot from
good.
that.
That's good. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that for me. Uh, Listen, again, everybody, want to remind everybody the show notes section is going to be very important for this show. You can get all the information about Arnaud, including his contact information, how to access the program, think about that 5-day challenge, and his other thoughts about the recovery process. If he has something to offer us, that would be great. Also, remember, if you're the parent or a mentor of a young adult between the ages of 24, we have a non-clinical process that we'd like to introduce to you that works along with any other intervention you might be using now, and also for practitioners, therapists, and counselors look to us and we can partner together. Arnaud, we're going to have this show, let everybody know. I know for a fact that it's going to be on the on the YouTube channel, Second Starts, that's the number 2, NDSTARTS.com, and parentingyourchildinrecovery.com. So that it will be there. You see in the show notes, we'll show you that too. And also, we'll put it on the LinkedIn page. We're going to put it on the Facebook page. So we'll put it all around, and hopefully we get this thing spread around and everybody gets a chance to soak up some of that knowledge, and especially some of these young fathers who this would be a great time with the young kids to start your life off and improve your stress levels. And that just triples, I imagine, a triple the benefit for your child. As you know, from whatever you get, you can give back triple to your child. So I love the concept. I like the way you think about it. Arnaud, in closing, I want to thank you again for coming on with me.
Thank you.
Getting up on the soapbox and letting us know who you are, what you do. And I hope we can follow up, and we will follow up, is because I'm going to do a futures presentation where I keep my guests in mind and at the top of mind with other people for any additional thoughts they may have. We'll be including those in the show notes too, so I'll be able to keep up with you. If you got any extra progress, we'll be able to put them down there, because we want everybody to keep up with what you're doing and hopefully use you or refer you. So that's what we want to do.
Thank you so much, Richard. I had a really great time. Really.
Thank you so much. Everybody, remember, from me and Arnaud, remember to get out there and help somebody get better, help somebody stay better, and help somebody be better. Till next time. Thank you.